السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري واشرك في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Now, we can start.
We're reading Seedbed of the Light, page number 58 on the book and call for us. I am the second paragraph.
Okay, so
Second paragraph on page 12.
do you have a copy? Do you have a spare copy? Shami?
Suppose you come across a splendid guest house that a benevolent ruler has built and richly decorated for travelers to stay in for only one night. You see that most of the decorations are samples, that visitors can taste only the food offered, that everything happening inside is recorded, and that the decorations are changed daily. You will conclude that its owner has limitless wealth and infinite generosity, and that it was built for a fixed period to arouse a yearning for the boundless and inexhaustible banquets prepared for all travelers in his permanent mansions.
No, it is the description of this word, isn't it? It's
Yes.
very simple. But we have to, of course, internalize it. We have to pay attention to it. Is it really so? Am I really experiencing it? Am I really seeing this word as it is described here? First, this word is decorated and just presented, just samples are presented. Samples are presented. We talked about the samples. Do you remember? It was long ago. The samples are, why do we say that? Let's refresh our minds. Why do you say that the samples are? But whatever we see here are nothing but samples. How do we know that they are samples?
Well, for starters, they are essentially transient in their nature, so they do not satisfy my eternal need.
Now, two points you made so far.
Yes.
One is they are not permanent.
Right.
They come and disappear. The second part is they don't really satisfy
My eternal need.
human needs, which look for eternal satisfaction. They are temporary, so I want them to happen or to be presented to me eternally, but unfortunately, they disappear. It contradicts human nature. Okay, 2 points were interesting. Okay, I can take that. Okay. More comments?
Quality, although it's transient and it's not staying free eternally, is in such a form that indicates wisdom, power, qualities that are permanent. Which again proves
The
that
qualities were on the samples.
right.
It's a good point. Thank you. I'm very happy with this comments. Qualities manifested on these temporary samples in this world, transient samples, point to
Power, knowledge,
power to what?
change, power to change. I'm sorry, what were the
Now,
qualities?
the qualities manifested in the samples in this world point to
Eternal power.
eternal qualities as their source, as their source. Yeah?
Yes.
So just I wanted to make sure what we are talking about.
You said it points to eternal qualities of that source.
Yeah, eternal qualities of that source, but they themselves are transient.
Okay.
Another contradiction. The first contradiction is they are lovable, they are appreciated by human beings, but contradicts to human nature. Human nature wants them to be eternal, permanent, and they are not. And what Adam's comment was, although they are transient, but when we study them, their source of existence must have eternal qualities, absolute qualities. The source of existence have absolute qualities, but they themselves are transient. What does it mean? Do we get the point? What does it mean? It's something contradictory. Okay. That the visitors can taste only. Now, comment on it. We are not expected to get full satisfaction because we can't. Because of the reason that they don't really satisfy human nature.
So I think there's an interesting word in there, which is can. So it says that visitors can taste only. So meaning that is, in a sense, the capacity or the limit that that a visitor can attain. So you use the word visitors are expected to taste versus can taste means that is the limit. So you cannot do anything beyond even tasting.
Beyond tasting, yeah. Oh, that is a good point. You cannot do anything beyond tasting. But if someone misunderstands and tries to get satisfaction from the transient things, what happens? Themselves, whatever is created in this world, wants to get here. So they will definitely be disappointed. So there are two ways. Either they will say, this world is meaningless, disappointing, yeah. We have to do something just temporarily enjoyment or enjoy. Or they will say there must be some reason behind them. There must be some reason behind them. What is going on here? That is why this world is so strange. From one aspect, it looks beautiful, perfect. From another aspect, it is full of contradictions. But as compared to two points today, they pointed out, our friends pointed out 2 points. the source of their existence seems to be absolute one. And human needs look for eternity, but the things are transient. Created things are transient. Either we will experience only disappointment, that, you know, we cannot do anything else. We have no other option. Try to satisfy yourself temporarily on a moment by moment base, or look for another way of understanding. It misinterpreting why the eternal being, absolute being, or a being who has absolute qualities are creating these things not permanently, because he could.
I think this tension that's created forces you to go to the source.
It is an invitation to acknowledge the source.
Yes, because it creates like a tension or a crisis.
Hmm.
And then if the things could satisfy us fully, we'll never look for the source.
Yeah,
That's how
in this world.
yes.
So as far as the conditions of the creation of this world is concerned, if the things were permanent and perfect, we would be indulging into the objects themselves and never look and question for the source. And this said, it is satisfying me itself. And there would be no training, educating myself to get in contact with the source of this creation. Now, in paradise, the things will be transient in nature, but continues to renew in order to satisfy human need on a permanent base. It must be so. Now, of course, the paradise is also created or not created. Which one?
Must be
It's created. Paradise is created or not created? An idea?
created.
Oh, if it is not created, it would be the creator. Why do we hesitate? Yes? Definitely the creator. It's a created thing. So when something is created in its nature, it cannot be absolute, infinite. So that's why everything will be renewed, but not like the renewal is taking place here. For example, when you eat the food, it's finished. Right? Here in this world. But the description of the paradise made in the scripture, how when you eat the fruit, what happens? It is replaced immediately. But it disappears, but replaced immediately. But in this world, what do we have to do? We have to wait for another season and cultivate the land and do whatever needs to be done according to the order of the creation of this universe. That's me?
Yeah.
Now there you don't have to do anything, but it is renewed immediately. It really matches the description of what paradise is, what this world is in the scripture. This world is transient, paradise is eternal, ebedi in the language of the Quran. Eternal, right? Now, we may not remember that when we say paradise is eternal, it is created. When we don't think that the paradise is created, then you think that everything will be static and at the end become for human senses right now in this world, boring, static. Paradise is not static, it is dynamic. Must be dynamic because human feelings, human capacity needs what? Dynamic, dynamic, continuous manifestation. Must be so. There must be a place where the human beings don't have to work, don't have to wait, but everything must be renewed and dynamic.
Does that imply that our human need is never ending? Not from the perspective of eternal, but from the perspective of always growing or always increasing.
Oh, now, ask yourself a question saying that, let's say you like something, you enjoy something, or, 100 years later, you will enjoy it for 100 years. And at the end, you will lose it. What do your feelings say? No, why not after 100 years? No, for the moment, because of our concept of time now, 100 years is a long time. Oh, okay, but let's say tomorrow is the end of 100 years. What would your senses say? Extension. Ask for extension, right? That is what you are. But this time frame, whether 100 years or 100 million years, think about the end of the day. 100 million years later, you have a perfect, let's say, sense of taste in your tongue. Okay? 100 million years you experience new manifestations of tastes. Tomorrow is the end of 100 million years. What do your senses say? Okay, that is enough. Do you say that? What do you say?
You say you want another 100
No. Is there an extension? Now, the word in the Quran which is used, which means eternal, permanent, abadi, abada, khalidina fiha, abada, yeah? That means expression of our human feelings. Nothing strange to us. We want everything abadi. But some people, I mean, they don't really misinterpret everything, but when they say Khalidina fiha abada, some people ask the question, how a created paradise, new creation, after resurrection, can be abadi while God is abadi? Can be eternal while God is eternal? Are they equal? Who will answer this question? Some people argue that. Sorry? Can you rephrase it?
How can you say that paradise is something eternal and its creator is also something eternal?
Yes. If paradise is eternal, abadi, and abad is the name of God as well, one of the names of God. So are they both abad?
No, they're not equal because one is created and the other one is the creator. I mean,
The source of what? That is why everything is continuously renewed in paradise.
how do you know that?
Or must be so created. Dependent for their existence.
So here too we see renovation. Everything is constantly renewed, isn't it?
But everything is renewed. But as far as my relationship, it's a good question. As far as my relationship with the creation is concerned, now I benefit from the summer fruit and I use them. What happens? Either I consume them. If I don't consume, they get rotten, right? And I have to wait for another summer. I have to do some work according to the order of this universe. In paradise, you don't have to do anything. It is immediately renewed.
The experience.
No, the creation is renewed. The creation is immediately renewed. You don't have to obey the order of creation as it is here. Here is a training place. In this creation, we understand that I am attending to the causal chain. This is an interesting point. Following the causal chain, it means cultivating the land, tilling the land, earth, waiting for water, and putting the seed. While I am doing all this, I am being trained. Why? Look, in order to get, let's say, I want to get cherries, yeah, next summer. I have to take care of the tree or plant the tree, cherry tree, wait for a couple of years. And while I am all doing this, what I am experiencing here, very important thing. Now, although I am tilling the land, the earth, the soil, I know that the soil is not going to do anything. Isn't that interesting? But if the soil is not effective, why do I do that? The question you will answer. Why do I have to do that? Do you think water is making the cherry? No. Why do I have to, within the order of this universe? Never forget, this is the type of creation. Why do I have to put water? Since it doesn't create.
It's the order that's established already.
Why?
Just follow
Yeah,
the order
why?
because that's the
Why the order is like this? I'm helping you. Why is the order in this way?
given this order. I'm given this order.
Why?
Why?
Why? What is the wisdom for this order? I have something in my mind, so think about it. Why am I put in this condition, in this way?
So I question this order.
A good point. Carry on. Think about it. Can I come in?
So, yeah, so we question this order, and then why is this order in place?
I think it's also questioning and also trying to prove any other alternative way. So employing something, like using water as a tool to reach the end goal, which is a cherry. And if you say, okay, I'm questioning this order, I'm questioning the order, so I'm going to try something else. And I don't know, maybe use Diet Coke instead of water. And see if we get cherries. And if you try to contradict the order and see if there's any contradiction, then that means there's some other order that exists.
You're saying manipulating around the order.
I think to your point, that's question advice is how you question just raising
Okay.
question or testing.
So, of course, I wasn't here. I didn't take your explanation.
I left off with, okay, so I questioned the order, and then Prophet said, and while we were questioning the order, we kind of figured out if maybe I thought instead of water, I tried to mix up something else. just to see different manipulating around with the order and to see if I get my end result.
What is the point in manipulating the order?
What if you
What is the point?
researching, investigating is something else. Investigating is different ways to get to your
Okay.
end goal.
You investigated.
So yeah, so the question is really what is so when I question the order, what is the wisdom behind the order, right?
What is the wisdom behind the order? Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Oh,
Take this. Oh, assalamu alaikum. Islam. Islam, is it? Abdul Rahman. I see, I'm confusing. Okay, Abdul Rahman. Are you comfortable there? Yeah, Abdul Rahman. There you are. And we are not really so we are getting closer to the answer that I have expected. That's my expectation, but not really getting into the answer perfect. Why do we have to investigate the order? What is the reason? What is the wisdom in it?
so I'm looking for the source of existence of this order. So I'm like, hey, if I investigate this, maybe I'll find root signs related to it.
So be comfortable. You know, don't be hesitant. Say what you really understand. Be comfortable. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm still stuck with that part where. So the initial question is, what is the wisdom behind me following the order here, right?
Yeah. Then the
In order for me to get
our order shows what?
Order should
I have to attempt the causes, which means I have to till the land. I have to take care of the seed, protect it. I have to protect it. I have to water it, take care of it. Yeah. But I know that the earth cannot make the cherry. I know that, or as a human being, I know that water cannot make the cherry. Why am I put in this position? Did you get the question?
to look for what makes the cherry.
Sorry?
To look exactly for what makes the cherry.
Say it clearly.
Okay, so why am I put in a situation where I realize that hey, water is not creating the cherry, the soil is not creating the cherry. So then the answer to that question is then I look for what is the creator of the cherry.
No. Yeah. Would you like to add something? You wanted to say something, and then that's a good answer, yeah?
I think when you're trying to figure it out, like if you want a certain goal, a cherry or anything.
Yeah, but the cherry is an example of everything. Yeah.
Right. So if you want the cherry, then you think, as you're trying to discover how to get that, reach your goal, you acknowledge that the way to the cherry is created. And you acknowledge that the order is set by an absolute source. For me, this is the point. And
Yeah.
so on that journey, you constantly think, this is created, this is created. I can't figure it out, but I'm going to try. I have to find out like A plus B equals C. Like C is the cherry. So I'm discovering A and plus and B and all of those things. A plus and B are all made, are all created.
Yeah, they have no effect.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So as you're on this path to try to reach your goal, just keep acknowledging that there's a
Now, what is the expression in English? Learning by Try and error. That is the word. Did you get it? Abdurrahman, how are you? Are you comfortable there, really? You can come in. Okay, so this is the word of learning, educating ourselves by try and error. What reminds you? What this statement reminds you in the Quranic main fundamental point, fundamental teaching?
The world as a training ground.
Sorry?
The world as a training ground.
Yes, training ground, not a testing ground, training ground. We are subject to training. So what is the main message of the Quran? La ilaha illallah. By making mistakes, by making errors, trying again, and learning the source of the existence of the cherry. These things, nothing in this world can be the source of existence of the cherry. If we, as we are created with this capacity now in this world, as we are created, as we are, we can learn only this way. If someone says, makes a shortcut, saying that I believe in God, I don't need anything, he cannot learn it. He cannot educate himself. He has to make mistakes. By? No, without water. Water. Cherry doesn't grow. Yeah? He puts water and cherry grows. And he has to look at the cherry and look at water. Water has no quality to make the cherry. What's going on? Investigation. Without investigation and making the mistake from the beginning, seeing that water is necessary for the cherry to grow, we cannot train ourselves. So we have to make the mistake first and then reject it because it is obvious. Water has no quality to make the cherry. Yes.
I was just going to say, so to summarize it, by tilling the soil, cultivating the garden, you know, in that process, I am reaffirming the fact that creation does not hold causal powers.
Yeah. That is how we are trained. Although I am cultivating the land, I am watering it, like taking care of it, I know that none of these things has any effect in the creation of cherry. I can find out this. So it is a training that we go through. Every day we get hungry and we eat, and another time we get hungry again and we need to eat again. What are we doing? Training. Look, I am the one who is in need and who is meeting the need, who is really satisfying my needs. Through these actions, I am learning it. Now, in the new creation, as you learned, as you educated yourself, you graduate from this creation. What happens? That's it. Whatever you are, you are. And now experience your existence accordingly.
And earlier we said that in that new type of existence, you won't have to follow any kind of order. So everything will be just.
Yeah, as you are. The graduation degree is there, finished. So we should hurry. Now, we shouldn't be, we should try not to be graduated with a lower degree. Yeah. It's not difficult. Inshallah. So we studied the visitors can taste only the food offered or the things offered to us. Taste, not satisfy. Because this type of existence does not satisfy human needs. We know that. Everybody should ask himself, does it satisfy me? We have to question. We have to use our human capacity and question what's happening in the world. Otherwise, if you say, I believe in God, I'm a Muslim or whatever, a follower of a certain religion, I'm fine. That's it. I have to do my religious duty. Can you educate yourself? No. You don't educate yourself. Because what did we do? Without going through the training, we jumped to the conclusion and copied the conclusion. We haven't educated ourselves. That's why it doesn't work. We become very religious, but our human senses will not experience the signs of the Creator while we are interacting with the signs of the Creator. We get, who will repeat that?
Our human spirit will not experience the signs of the Creator while we're interacting here with everything.
With the signs.
Yeah.
Although we don't really connect them, we don't really interact with the Creator through the manifested signs. So we learn nothing. We keep repeating, for example, praying, but we learn nothing.
Without interacting with the signs.
And the source of the signs. And becoming aware of it. Because human beings cannot really come to conclusion at once only, and then that's it. I believe that the universe is created. It is not human nature. Why? Yes, universe has a creator. That's correct. Why do you keep drinking water? Why do you keep getting hungry? Why do you keep feeling the need of something new and new and new and new? That is the order of the creation. Do you think this order of the creation has no purpose, no meaning? Just you conclude it. We think that belief or conscious acknowledgement of the Creator takes only once. That is the general understanding. You believe in God, finish. But the order of the universe, the way that the universe is created, doesn't say so. Every time, the way the universe is created invites us to reconsider our conclusions, re-experience our conclusions, reconfirm our conclusions, so that we will be sure. Okay? We will be sure of our Creator and live with our Creator. So, God consciousness means this. God consciousness means there's a taqwa or something, all the words the Quran uses, shu'ur, alim, is this. Okay.
Sure. More sure. More, it's sure. It is sure. But it's coming to more and more surety. Sure, it seems to have an inherent nature of a one-time aspect of it.
Mhm.
Whereas this thing is, because it's continuously dynamic, it's a kind of more surety. It's levels of surety.
Typical example. I think more surety is not enough to me, because we are not repeating the same information every day. Like studying, let's say, biology. When we study biology, biology has many degrees, right? But the more or the clearer example is mathematics. You can teach mathematics to a 4, 5 years old child, right? What you are teaching, mathematics. How about 7 years olds? How about 10th grades? How about 16th grades? College students. They say, I'm taking mathematics. I'm taking mathematics course. Even they do a PhD on it, still they say, I'm studying mathematics. The degrees, because human nature, human feelings, what makes us human being is not static, it's dynamic. The more you get information, the wider they become. So, like learning mathematics, age is not important. If someone has not studied mathematics at all until the age of 20, what does he have to do? Start from the beginning at the age of 20. And then the next year, the following year, learns the mathematics more and more, because his capacity enlarges. As you learn something, there is always a space for a more learning. Yeah, it goes along with surety, but at the same time, human capacity is progressing. So becoming aware of God consciousness becomes larger, larger, larger. Together with this improvement, progress becomes surer and surer. Now, what we think usually, we say, yes, I conclude that let's say we learned 4 mathematical, I would say, additions, subtractions, divisions, and multiplications, and I stop studying mathematics. What happens? Let's finish. I am graduated. I graduated from the primary school or whatever, and that's it. What I think that mathematics is this. Mathematics consists of this only. Yeah? It means I do the additions, subtractions. No. See? Subtractions. Yeah, subtractions, multiplications, and divisions. That's what mathematics is all about. That's what we do. We look at the universe. It's so wonderful. It cannot happen by itself. It is so wonderful. It is impossible. The things themselves cannot make themselves as they are. There is a creator. Finish. I believe in God. Is it wrong?
Yes.
No, it's not wrong. It's correct. Now you learned how to do additions. How about subtractions? How about divisions? How about multiplications? And how about algebra? How about algorithm? Whatever they call it, I don't know. Yeah. But how about that? You are not aware of it. So your potentiality is there, but because you haven't used it, you don't realize that you have this potentiality. That's very dangerous. It means you start and then kill your potentiality. You said yes, there's a God, okay, but your potentiality is not or doesn't have this capacity that it should stop here. It expands endlessly. You cannot get to the end until you die. So we have to study mathematics until we die, and there is no end. We have to interact with the creation in order to experience our relationship with the Creator, introduce the Creator to our human side until we die. There's no end. Whenever you stop, I am done with belief, that's it. You killed yourself there.
So I'm going to use an analogy. So similar to how, for example, we need to build our muscles to be able to lift more weight. As you put those muscles to exercise and you develop them, you're able to lift even more weight over time. But if you stop using those muscles, then there is a sense of retardation that happens, right?
Mhm.
So whatever weight that you were able to lift at that time, a year down the road, it's not necessary that you're still going to be able to lift that. So if my consciousness, and now, sorry, if that's the analogy, and I'm applying my consciousness according to that, and saying, as I increase my consciousness, or as I apply my consciousness, I'm going to increase it, which means I'm going to be able to comprehend more. Does that mean that as I stop my consciousness, or stop applying my consciousness, there is also a sense of retardation? And if there is, then after death as we know it, is it okay to imply that my consciousness must also constantly increase or have the ability to increase after death?
Yeah, your consciousness has the ability to increase, but you have to train. You have to go to attend the new classes.
No, but I'm specifically implying after death.
After that, there's no. I mean, you are done with your education.
But that's again, if I'm not,
I don't know.
yeah.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So you got the analogy that I used, right?
Yeah.
So
Atrophy, by the way.
what was that?
Atrophy.
Yeah. So just like that, if we don't apply our consciousness, there is a sense of retardation that must occur through it.
Which atrophy is the right word for muscles? Or is it maybe
No, now I'm using unconsciousness.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So let's say a decrease in capacity of my consciousness will happen if I don't use it. So because death is, as we know it, is this termination of not my existence, but like my consciousness will still exist. That's my conclusion. Does that mean after death, my consciousness is subjected to experience some sort of retardation? If not, does it have the ability to grow beyond what it is? So that was my question.
No, I don't. Of course, I don't know whether there will be more training so that we will make improvements, but we will be happier all the time. But as far as the acknowledgement of the Creator and experiencing His manifestations and getting the pleasure out of it, we are. I don't think we will have another creation. We need another creation. I see no reason for it within the way I am treated in this world. That I don't think there is an there will be another need for training and learning anew. You are graduated, finished now. The spirit, the human spirit, has immense capacity, maybe endless capacity. Yeah, as we practice in this work, we see that there is no end for my improvement. In any sense, not only in acknowledging God, we don't have any limit for whatever you do. For example, even if you are working as a plumber, is there any end in your experience in plumbing? No. You learn new and new and new. That is the nature of this creation. If it was going to be in the renewed creation, it means after resurrection, it means the spirit is going to be given another bodily existence so that they will experience the manifestations of the names of the Creator. There must be such a thing. But if there was, again, if there will be, again, a kind of training, so what is the repetition of the same type of creation? The wisdom behind behind creating another type. But we will endure. For example, let's say we learned mathematics at a certain level. Now, all the exercises you do within that certain level, you cannot go beyond. Can you? You didn't learn further. But you do new exercises, new practices, because if we have not, or if we have educated our spirit to a certain capacity, and that's it. But because it must be so, otherwise there will be no need for a recreation. Because the same type of creation is going to be renewed or repeated, why not continuing here? So when the Quran says, they will see their God, yeah? Every soul will see his God, will look at his God, will experience his God. But the fine language is this. Let me quote the Arabic, so if you come across the Arabic origin, you can study on it. وجوه يومئذ ناظرة إلى ربها ناظرة. Look at the language. The faces will be bright, shining after the new resurrection, that day. Looking at, the very secretive word is here, would you? It means everybody. His Lord. Ila Rabbiha. Not ila Rabbi. Did you get it? Ila Rabbiha. It means everybody will experience the manifestation of the Creator, his Lord, as much as he acknowledged it. Ila Rabbiha. It means not ila Rabb, means not, they say Ru'yatullah. This is a very famous word. Seeing God is possible or not. Ulama discuss this, scholars discuss this matter a lot. But the Quran says, you can experience the manifestations of the Creator as much as you became acquainted with it, within your capacity. That's why we have to get ready here. try to increase our capacity in order to acknowledge our Creator as much as possible. Otherwise, if we just say that, oh yeah, I attended the mathematics class, yeah, one class. And I said that mathematics is an interesting subject. Yeah, I agree, I approve it, I confirm it, I'm sure about it, but no more class. What does it mean? I believe in God and no more class. It means there is something exists, but I don't know what it is. I am not really becoming acquainted with it, familiar with it, introducing myself to Him, introducing His manifestations to my spirit, and making my spirit more and more improved, satisfied, learned, and the capacity increased. That's interesting reality in this world. No, Iman is never static. What is static in the world? Abram? Nothing. Mathematics has no end. Biology has no end. Physics has no end. What else? Sociology has no end. Philosophy has no end. Whatever you study. For example, let's say you are driving a car. Don't you drive more and more and you become better and better driver? Is there any end? Nothing has any static position in this world. How can we say that? Or people usually ignore the belief matters. They say, I believe in God and I'm done. Static. Impossible. That is why the reason in the Muslim tradition, belief matter is ignored. And only listing, not training. Why? Because we believe in God. Finish. Now come to the practical side of rituals. So the Quran is contains the teachings of the belief, or gives the opportunity or provides the evidence for us to experience more and more with our Creator and get to know Him better. Trains me by giving various different examples at various levels. Every verse you study in the Quran, today I understand this, tomorrow I understand something else. Hello? Yes, this is Ali. Yeah. Now, Michael, if you don't mind, can I call you back in half an hour? That for the moment I am in a meeting. Thank you. Yes, I've got your number. I'll call you back somewhere around 1:35. Okay? Thank you, Mike. Okay, bye-bye. Unfortunately, that's my main concern. I don't blame people that they don't believe in God. I don't blame people that you are an atheist, you are you don't believe in God. No, that's not my concern. If someone says, I believe in God, I'm sure, then I follow certain religion, I say, okay. It means I am a student. But are you attending new classes? That's the question. Yeah. If someone says, I'm not a student, it means I don't believe in God. That's the example. I say, okay, what do you think you are? Why are you here? The argument goes in this way. But the problem is with the people who say, I am a student. It means I believe in God. I subscribe to a religion. Yeah, even I practice religion. Okay? Do you attend the class? You practice your religion. For example, let's say you learn additions in mathematics. You keep doing additions. All the actions that related to mathematics is limited to additions. Repeating. Yeah, maybe if they remember a new way of doing the additions, learning, it's better, but I don't think so. People keep doing the same additions again and again and again, 5 times a day, one month a year, the same addition. The problem with this, look, people don't realize that the Quran speaks to human beings. God speaks to human beings to provide them with new practices of belief system, not new practices of fasting or praying. New practices of belief system, new opportunities, gives them new opportunities by using a strange language. Strange means it's very interesting, Abdurrahman. The Quran uses always a general, vague language, not specific at all. You cannot, for example, find a sentence in the Quran giving exact date. Moses was in coordinations, geographical coordinations, yeah. And in this time, and interacted with a man who was this man for sure, and make a certain statement that you cannot interpret it anymore. For example, if I give my home address, what do? Do you find different levels of understanding of my home address? No, one point. There is no such information in the Quran. Fixed information. Fixed information. It is always open to interpretations. And there is no fixed information. The Quran doesn't give me my address if you like. He says, where Ali lives. General statement. You have to investigate it. You have to investigate it, and this investigation has no end. For example, Moses and Pharaoh relationship is presented in a way that you can interpret endlessly. That is why there is no certain information, certain means, physically certain information given in the Quran. Ashabu feel. Don't misunderstand or don't be misled. Ashabu feel was the people who came from south of Hijaz and tried to. No. Ashabu feel anyone who wants to destroy the center of Tawheed in this world. How many ways are there to attempt to destroy the center of Tawheed? Endless. Endless. Quran says, which we are going to study next Thursday, start studying next Thursday, Abu Lahab. Okay. What was the main characteristics of Abu Lahab? And how many different kinds of attitudes that we experience in the form of Abu Lahab as described in the Quran. Quran doesn't mention an historical man. What shall I do with it? He's dead. It's a very amazing thing. What shall I do, cursing Abu Lahab? What benefit you get? He's already dead, and if he's a bad guy, he's okay. Good guy, bad guy, according to him, will be repeated. Treated. Finish. What are you going to do with him anymore? Why do you keep repeating the name again and again and again? What? No general. It is to be generalized and applied to your life at every moment, at every different level. So the Quran's language, they say, the language of the Quran is miraculous. Why? There is no limit, there is no end. It comes from eternal knowledge, and it introduces you, any subject the Quran introduces has eternal capacity. You can interpret, everybody can interpret accordingly. That's why Quran needs to be interpreted. You cannot say that I'm not interpreting the Quran. Everybody is interpreting the Quran. Even those people say that I'm not going to interpret the Quran. What they do practically, they read it and they say what the Quran says. It means his understanding, his interpretation. Inevitable. It's inevitable. But if the Quran was speaking on a physical terms, like giving my address, can you interpret my address? No. You cannot interpret my address. Do you understand? So that is why there is no fixed information in the Quran as far as the physical terms are concerned. Physically, historically, time-wise, space-wise. He speaks this Qawm Lut. You don't have to go into history and find out the Qawm Lut, because the characteristics of the Qawm Lut is described there, and you have to look for the characteristics of the Qawm Lut. You don't look for the historical context of the Qawm Lut. If you look for the historical context of the Qawm Lut, you're reducing the Quran to an encyclopedic book. It is not miraculous anymore. It is not eternal anymore. It doesn't give you eternal information anymore. And we have to wake up. What do you think? Ada? No? Okay. No comment. Okay, I think we should at least continue the paragraph. Yeah, you take over the moderation. That visitors we studied this, can taste only. We studied this. Can taste only. Yeah, we spent 1 hour, more than an hour on this subject. Yeah.
Should we move on to the next paragraph?
Oh, yeah. Well, we haven't studied the rest of the paragraph. But it's easy now, inshallah, to understand.
Or you want me to read it again? Okay.
You are the moderator. I don't want anything. I want you to be the moderator. So feel free, as you feel. If you think that we have to concentrate on, we have to talk about and explain further, ask or make the comment.
So I think the next point that is being made in this paragraph is that everything happening in sight is recorded.
Oh. Is it important that everything is recorded? Is it really recorded? And how can we make sure that everything is recorded?
An example that I use for myself is that I'm conscious of what I did yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and that we talked about how my past is part of my present. So in a sense, even within my consciousness, I'm aware of what I did in my past, and it's being recorded in my quote-unquote memory or consciousness. And if that in itself is evidence of things that can be recorded or moments that can be recorded. So I have no proof to say that it's not recorded.
I have in my own experience, in my own, in my own existence, that I am experiencing that everything is recorded. So you learn it. And you are as much as you learned, huh?
What do you mean?
I mean,
am like my consciousness as much as I develop.
yeah,
Okay.
that's it. What you are. For example, in the physical term, whatever you learn, let's say as a mechanical engineer, that's what you are. So you say, I'm a mechanical engineer, but I just graduated. Or some people say, I'm a mechanical engineer, but I am practicing it for 2 years or 10 years. It means there is a difference, eh? And it is what I am. Now, it is recorded within me. That's what I am, what makes me that time. So apart from this, apart from human conscious memory, and also in the creation, we see a lot of other examples. All the qualities of the previous creatures have been recorded in their DNA, in their seeds, their eggs. Yeah, they are recorded. It means a tree dies, but it doesn't mean that the quality of treeness died. No, it is recorded and shown us again to demonstrate that, look, I have recorded that the creator is showing, demonstrating it, saying that I have recorded what we have done. They're demonstrating to us. Everything is recorded. But I don't know about the other inanimate beings, whether the physics could find that the previous creation is being recorded in the, not DNA, because DNA is subject to living beings, I don't know, but in physical beings also, there must be something. If they have not discovered it, there must be some way of seeing that the creation is always recorded. So say it again, can you, for the recording, yeah.
Every star holds the fingerprints of other stars that it was formed from.
If they found out this,
Yeah, so
that is correct. It's expected.
exactly that.
But it must be so. If they have not developed this science, this is open to be developed. That must be so. Yeah, yeah. But it's good to know that people are aware of it at the starting point or something. But DNA is very much heavily studied, so everybody is almost sure from the very practical life that human generations have been recorded, all the qualities have been recorded. So they go to a lab and give their a piece of from their DNA, and they say you have 0.5% Asian background. Recorded. Obvious. And this is weird. So what is the point? Everything is recorded. I think let's read the following phrases. So what does it mean that everything is recorded? So what are we going to do with it? They just everything is recorded. It's amazing, interesting. So what is it? What is it for?
So there's another point that's being made, but that's about the declarations that are being changed daily. But
I think we covered.
Yeah, that's separate from the answer to your question, which is why is it being recorded?
So what is the wisdom in this way of creation? What is the wisdom?
So let me come to a conclusion about the owner of that building or of that guest house, which acknowledges again that it has limitless wealth and infinite generosity.
We covered this as well. When we study the creation and the creation of anything, we understand that the creator of this thing must have limited power, qualities, wealth, and generosity is said here, but everything must be limitless, not just limitless, yeah. So, of course, we will come back to the to my question. What is the wisdom in creating the things in a way that they are demonstrating that they are being recorded? It means the creator is recording them, showing that he is, if you like, the creator is the recorder. For example, from the creation, we know that the one who gave existence to the creation is the creator. From the order, we know that the creator of this universe is orderer. From the recording, we know that creator has the quality of recording. He is a recorder. So by learning this, what are we going to do with it? So I learned that the creator is the recorder. So what shall I do?
So again, sorry to use like any traditional terminology in this, but my conclusion would be if it's being recorded, then it's being recorded for a reason, and that reason must be so that whatever consciousness that I'm applying, I must be rewarded or I must be acknowledged for what I performed.
It means whatever I've done here is recorded, means I am going to be taken into account of what I've done here. It means it's not going to be ignored.
Yeah, it's taken seriously.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's taken seriously.
Now, some people say, okay, this is a special occasion. I want to remember it again and again. What they do, they record it.
It will be taken account. It also will be, nothing will be wasted.
No pointless creation. Huh? So, for example,
moment will be left gone.
Yes,
Everything
will be
protected,
and
preserved.
evaluated. Accordingly, human beings will be treated. Right? Accordingly. So when I go to a class, I learn something and it is there. Another class on top of it, on top of it, on top of it. At the end, I become a mechanical engineer. Right? So in order to become a mechanical engineer, you have to remember, it means you have to have all the things you learn recorded, not neglected. There is a purpose. How about the purpose in the creation of this universe in a form that everything is recorded? Wow.
Yes, this mechanical engineer example you just gave.
Sorry?
The mechanical engineer example you just gave, slightly different to me than the issue of taking into account.
Now, this is an example, analogy. So we use the graduation as death. Now, so when you graduate from the mechanical engineering education system or college, now you are a mechanical engineer as much as you have improved your ability, your potentialities, right? And then you will be acting as a mechanical engineer according to that level. Now, it means you have learned whatever you have learned. Now, if we use this analogy to death, now in practical life, while the graduates, mechanical engineer graduates, practicing, they learn more. But about death, when we apply it to death, now the training finished. Now, training ground is here. There is no need to have another training ground. If it was need, this type of creation should continue.
We already discussed all that.
Yeah.
We're talking now about accountability. I think the emphasis of this issue is sentence. That everything happening inside is recorded. Is emphasizing the issue that everything is serious, nothing is wasted, everything is being looked at, but with the intent that it should be judged or given account.
But accountability, I'm a little bit sensitive about this word, although I use it. Accountability is not the sense that generally should not be understood in a way that generally understood. How? What do I mean by this? If you do something here, yeah, then you have to be taken into accountability because of what you have done there. Now, as far as the belief, consciousness, improving the capacity of your soul is concerned, accountability is the capacity. How much of your potentiality have turned or developed into capacity? Your potentiality have developed into capacity. It means how much of them you have developed it, improved it. Now, this accountability means it at this in this sense, not necessarily that if I make a mistake here or commit a crime here, so I am accountable for the crime so that they will punish me. Yeah, but this type of treatment is between two created beings in this world. But as far as the relationship between the created beings and the creator is concerned, the accountability, the sense of accountability must be understood in a different way. Now, it is a little bit, it may sound a bit strange and not very conventional for you, but I think about it and I say accountability is the way you make yourself acquainted with your creator. Accordingly, you will be experiencing the manifestations of the creator on a permanent base. That is the accountability. Now, if you kill somebody here, they will definitely punish you. My typical example last Thursday I used, if you park your car in a, let's say, illegal way or in a driveway, what they do, they give you a ticket, right? If you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, not okay, and then you learn. But in the way that we are having a relationship with the Creator is not the same. God doesn't give us a ticket, reminds us that you have done something wrong. If you acknowledge it, you are forgiven. If you don't acknowledge it, because what did we say from the beginning of today's class? This word is the place where we learn from or through trial and error. Now, it is quite human to make a mistake, to park your car in an illegal way. But the Creator treats you what? As, okay, have you learned from it? That it was a mistake? That's it. And you improve, you improve, you improve. Accountability is not to be understood as it is understood between two created beings. So our accountability with God is ultimately how much we became aware of our Creator, conscious of our Creator. That level is the point of accountability, if you like. It means you are not ignored. For example, you made a mistake. It is the typical example. You made a mistake. I made a mistake. And I asked the Creator, by acknowledging my mistake and asked him to forgive me, this mistake may help me to acknowledge my Creator better. May. It depends on my attitude. Not every mistake, of course. Because through the mistakes, I say, no, I shouldn't be like this. I should be like that. That is the purpose of, this is not the purpose of my existence, etc., etc. Right? Through this way of try and error, I'm learning better. That's how we are. So we shouldn't be disappointed when we make a mistake. Of course, acknowledge it. Oh, it doesn't mean that, okay, to make a mistake is all right. What did you learn out of it? How did you improve yourself? How did you improve yourself through your mistakes? Did you? Now ask yourself, everybody should ask this. I understand this accountability in this way. It's a level of consciousness, and accordingly we will be treated, we must be treated in the new creation. Okay, not the mistake according to the mistakes we make. No, no, no. The results of the benefiting from the mistake. Now that is something new for me. Okay, let's finish. The time is up, and let's finish the paragraph. Recording is, we know that we are going to be treated according to what we have, how we have developed. It is not wasted and put aside, ignored. Now.
And that it was built for a fixed period to arouse yearning for the boundless and inexhaustible benefits prepared for all travelers, permanent mansions.
Yeah, I think we covered this. Please help us. Let's finish this. Whoever likes it, finish this. Yeah, we covered all this. This transient work, the training work, is to get ready for a permanent experience. But permanent doesn't mean static. We have to remember. Everything will be renewed, refreshed, but permanently refreshed. That's what our spirit wants. That's how we are made. I think we have to stop here. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.